Hello everyone. Let's have a look at the various surgical approaches into the Pandora's box. We have a middle-aged lady with long-standing proptosis of left side. Imaging shows a large well-circumscribed intraconal mass in left orbit, pushing optic nerve superomedially. The ideal approach is lateral orbitotomy with bone wall removal. A limbal peritomy is done and the lateral rectus muscle is tagged. Lateral canthotomy is followed by a Rees-Burke incision for lateral orbitotomy. The soft tissue is dissected and the periosteum is reflected to expose the lateral orbital rim. The frontozygomatic suture is an important landmark here. A bone saw is used to make two parallel incisions and a bone window is created. The lateral rectus muscle is clamped and disinserted. The intraconal space is opened to expose the mass. The orbital tissues are bluntly dissected and the mass is delivered out of the orbit. After achieving hemostasis, the bone piece is positioned into place, the periosteum, muscle and skin are closed in layers. This is a middle-aged female with sudden painless proptosis over 7 months. We note a baxial proptosis with globe pushed down and out. Imaging shows a well-defined heterogeneous enhancing lesion encasing the orbital apex structures. The patient was planned for a lateral orbitotomy with bone window removal for complete excision of the mass. The tumor was removed by piecemeal dissection to preserve the orbital apex structures. The patient had a satisfactory resolution of proptosis. The vision improved significantly. Histopathology showed findings consistent with solitary fibrous tumor. Next in OPD is an elderly male patient with inability to open right eye. The patient shows significant enophthalmos with superior orbital mass. Imaging shows a superior orbital mass extending into the frontal sinus. There is a complete obliteration and ossification of sinus ostium with no communication into nasal cavity. Endonasal endoscopic assessment shows loss of all bony landmarks following prior FES surgery, with complete opening of ethmoid and sphenoid sinuses. The frontal sinus or its ostium can't be located. The patient is planned for a superior orbitotomy with vertical lid split approach. The skin incision is made to expose the tense cystic swelling. Surrounding soft tissue is gently dissected from the cyst wall. Cyst rupture is noted during deeper dissection. The purulent contents are aspirated. The remaining thickened cyst wall is excised. After adequate hemostasis, the lid margin is repaired and wound is closed in layers. The patient shows a satisfactory resolution of enophthalmos and ptosis, with no recurrence during follow-up visits. Our next case is a 41-year male patient who complained of painless swelling below right medial canthus for more than 4 years. The patient had a history of external DCR surgery done 2 years back, which failed within 2 months. On examination, we notice right globe dystopia with globe pushed out and upwards. Roplast test is negative with a soft stop on probing, suggesting an encysted mucocele. Imaging shows a well-defined homogeneous non-enhancing mass in right orbit extending along nasolacrimal duct. The patient was planned for an inferomedial orbitotomy with complete mucocele excision and re-DCR surgery. A modified Weber-Ferguson skin incision was used for adequate exposure of medial and inferior orbit. The skin flap was raised to expose the tense cyst underneath. The mucocele was completely excised and nasal cavity was opened for re-DCR surgery. The patient had an uneventful recovery with no epiphora over a 9-month follow-up. The subsequent sitting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very nice.
So in the first case, why have you not used cryo for the removal of the tumor?
Sir, actually, we did not have a cryo probe available actually. So I did a blunt dissection with a lens spatula to free it from the posterior structures and then deliver it out. And we had already made an lateral bone window because the tumor was around 4.5 to 5 centimeters in diameter. So going just a plain transconjunctival approach without a bone window would not have been possible, where we usually use a cryo probe. Through a small incision, when we want to remove, we prefer a cryo probe, but it was not possible for a 5 centimeter lesion. So we had made a bone window, so it was easy to deliver it with the blunt instruments.
And in all your sinus cases, do you take the help of an ENT surgeon? Like
Yes,
in
sir.
the last case?
Yes, sir. In the superior orbitotomy and medial orbitotomy, we had who performed the nasal endoscopy first to identify whether an endonasal approach could be done for these cases. In the first case, there was complete ossification of the frontal sinus ostium. So the surgeon would also have to go, ENT surgeon would have to go blindly into the frontal sinus, and there would be a chance to damage the cribriform plate. And for the other case, there was an osteotomy seen, as we can see even in the CT scan, where there is a large mucocele following DCR surgery. But the ENT surgeon preferred to go for an external approach because they would have to clear the entire ethmoids and cause unnecessary damage to the tissues.
And in one of the cases of enophthalmos
Yes.
with the tumor, what was the cause of that
Sir,
enophthalmos?
there was a huge frontal mucocele which was actually anterior to the globe. So, and the mucocele was pushing the globe backwards. Usually the orbital masses push the globe outwards and cause proptosis, but this mass was anterior to the globe, so it was pushing the globe back, and hence the patient was having enophthalmos. So when we removed it, the ptosis is resolved and the globe also came in its normal position.
Yeah.